Hello, I'm Sharpen Blade, and in this video we're going to take a look at the Kryo from Kansept. Now, I bought this knife from Integrity Knives. I will leave a link in the description to their website where you can pick this up. It's listed for $94.99, but you can use discount code SharpenBlade to get 10% off, which brings this down to $85.49 Canadian. You can also find other versions of this. Now, this one's out of stock right now, but they have other versions. They also have the Mini Kryo in titanium and S35VN. So you can find versions of this knife, but you won't find this knife available right now. I seem to have bought the last one, but I'm sure they'll get more in stock soon. And like I say, it's Integrity Knives, and you can find a link to their website in my description of this video. So without further ado, I'm just going to run through some of the measurements pretty quick. And my light just went out. Let's see if it won't come back on. Okay. So yeah, go through the measurements real quick, do some size comparisons, and then I'll just talk about the knife. So it has a blade length of 3.58 inches, 3.6 inches, handle length of 4.5 inches, and overall length of 8.08 inches. So it's a decent sized knife. 0.15 inches on the blade thickness, and it's just a little bit less than half an inch thick in the handle. Like I say, it's $95 basically, Canadian currency, and so it falls in that budget category. So it's a very nice budget knife, I will say that. So there's a couple other really nice budget knives, the Rat Model 1 and the Rat Model 2. So it's just a little bit shorter in the handle than the Model 2. Fairly similar blade length, although you get a little bit more, just a tiny little bit more cutting edge on this blade, the Kryo. And then obviously it's a bigger blade than the Rat 2. So, now, the boring part's out of the way. Let's talk about the knife. So, it has a drop point blade, which is one of my favorite blade shapes, although Wharncliffe's are very close second. It has a slight recurve, very, very slight recurve right here. I might be mistaken, but to me it looks like a recurve right there. I don't know. And it's a flat grind. This is a coated blade. I normally don't like coated blades for this reason here. Certain lights, you can see the wear pretty easily on it, from use. But it is holding up fairly well. It's kind of has a stone wash look to it. Just a very light stone washing. Feels nice and smooth. This doesn't impede the cutting performance at all, so it is a nice slicey knife. It'll handle pretty much anything you can throw at it for EDC purposes. It came very sharp out of the box, so I'm pleased with that. However, I really don't like all of the wording and stuff they have on here. Like, they didn't need to put those numbers and D2 on there. Why would you do that? I don't mind this so much because it's on the back of the blade, but you don't need this. I mean, you can put Kim Ning on there, obviously. The designer should be on the knife. But, we all know it's a Kryo. I mean, if you bought the knife, you know what it is. So I don't think that necessarily needs to be on there. Kind of a small nitpick. It's just, it shows up much worse because it's white on a black blade. So normally that probably wouldn't bother me as much, but it just shows up so much on here. So much easier anyways. That's, again, it shows up more than it would on like a satin finish, so that bothers me a little bit more. Kind of as a nitpick for all knives that have their I don't think they need to have their logos on the blade. If you can put, I know it costs more, but if you can put it on like the pivot screw, that would be a much nicer idea, I think. But anyways, like I say, that probably would cost a lot more. So, but I mean, Best Tech does it with their knives, so, and their budget knives. So, anyways, back on track. I don't really like that there, although there's really not. Maybe back here might be better, just like kind of where the curve is here might seem to flow a little bit nicer. But anyways, yeah, this right here, if that was gone, I wouldn't mind that as much. But just at least it's small. At least the font is small, and it's nice looking font too. So I don't know. Anyways, small nitpicks, but that just bothers me. It's got micarta on the scales and black hardware, obviously. The liners aren't coated, but I don't mind. I kind of like how this looks. Just a nice smooth, it's a nice shape. It feels nice on the thumb when you disengage the lock. I won't do that right now. I'll get to that in a second. It's got black like barrel spacers. I almost said back spacer, but barrel spacers there. There's a little pin there. You could put lanyard on if you wanted to. I do like that they didn't put a lanyard hole in this. Excellent job, but that lanyard holes are unnecessary. They just take away from the knife. The look of the knife anyways. There is skeletonization going on in there, so that is nice. It's not a very heavy knife. It's 4 ounces, but so it's a little bit over that ounce per inch thing that people like, but I don't mind. It's got a nice weight to it. Moving on to the pocket clip. It's a nice pocket clip. It's got a nice spring to it. It holds it in the pocket very well. Close it up here so I don't cut myself. The pocket clip itself is not milled, like inset into the scale, and there's also the screws sticking up, so I could still get this into my thickest of pant pockets. It couldn't go all the way up, but it got up at least enough that it was securely held in my pocket, so I can't complain about that. Regular pants, not the reinforced pockets that are like double stitched. The ones that are just regular thickness, this goes in and out of the pocket very easily. It goes all the way up to the top of the clip, so it really only has that much sticking out of the pocket, so can't complain about that. I just wish that they had recessed screws in there. It would just work even better. Micarta looks very nice. I don't always like the look of green scales. I don't mind green micarta, and I thought it looked pretty cool with black hardware, so that's why I got this one. It's just a really nice looking knife overall, so I'm very pleased with that. It has a very nice action. Some people say that their detent's a little strong. I don't find that with this one. I think the detent, it's not perfect, but it's pretty dang close. It's got a nice flipper tab here. No jimping on it, but you don't really need it. It has a nice action. There is jimping up here, which is, effective. It's not overly aggressive, but it's effective. As you saw, it does have a nice snappy action. It's on bearing, so it's fairly fall shutty. It's a pleasure to fidget with. It works so well with the Spidey flick or middle finger flick. That is my preferred method of deployment with this knife. It works so well. Now, the thumb in this hole, I couldn't find a very comfortable spot to put my thumb in order to really, you have to kind of give it some wrist to make sure that it doesn't fail on you. So I don't find this design of the hole is, for me at least, doesn't fit my thumb very well. But yeah, it works so much better with the middle finger. I can't really do it with the ring finger that well. Oh, I guess I did that time. But it works much easier as a middle finger flick deployment. But yeah, it's very fun to fidget with. Now the ergonomics are also nice. It fits the hand very well. It's a good length. It's not too big, but it's big enough that I can hold it confidently when I'm using it. So it's very nice that way. It has finger grooves here. It's fairly neutral otherwise, but these fit my fingers perfectly. Now if you have really big fingers, this might jab into you a little bit more than it would on people with smaller hands, but for me it's very comfortable. Now the usually pocket clip with this kind of a shape at the end here makes kind of a hot spot, but it's really not that bad on this one. Even though it doesn't flatten out at the end here, it's not a hot spot, so it just fits perfectly in my hand. So it's a very nice, comfortable knife to use when performing EDC tasks. So can't complain about the ergonomics at all. Can't really complain about anything with this knife. It's just a very nice all around EDC knife. So I'm very happy with it. I can totally recommend anyone picking this up if you like the way it looks. And some people might not like the design of it. I didn't really like it at first. When they first came out, I didn't really like the blade shape. Although I like drop points, I don't know, something about it I didn't like, but it's grown on me. And the knife, how it performs, and just the fidgetability of it makes it a real winner for me, and I'm very happy to have this in my collection. So that should do it for my thoughts on this knife. Like I say, check out Integrity Knives and use discount code SharpenBlade to get 10% off this knife or any knife that they have on their website, or anything else on their website too. It works on pretty much everything, so make sure to check them out. Use a discount code. It helps support my channel. And thanks so much for watching. Take care.